Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. Now, what are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, companion videos are when I take the live questions from the John Campea Show that we didn't have time to get around to. I want to make sure those questions get answered properly in a video, so I gather them up, I bring them here, and I address them on companion videos. So, this is our companion video for Thursday, May the 23rd, from the John Campea Show earlier today. Let's not waste any time and get right to it. And the first question we're going to start getting caught up on comes to us from 50 Shades of Crypto, who writes, did you see the Great Britain versus France hockey match? Great Britain came back from 3-0 down to win 4-3 in overtime. It was the greatest comeback story since Kim Kardashian. Okay, wait a minute, Andy Dwyer. First of all, if you guys don't know that reference, go on YouTube and look up Andy Dwyer, Kim Kardashian comeback for one of the funniest blooper videos from Parks and Rec you are ever going to see in your life. Just check it out, trust me. You know, I haven't been following the World Championships that much this year. I know Canada is number one in their division. They're playing Sweden, I believe. No, Switzerland. They're playing Switzerland today, I believe. And now they're getting into the nitty-gritty of it all. So hopefully I'll get a chance to catch up a little bit more. It's hard to find it on TV here in the States. It's crazy. Joseph Ziegler writes, and I'm not saying producers, directors owe anything to fans. They deserve creative freedom with a franchise. The change just felt like night and day. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Joseph was talking earlier on the John Campea Show about how, I think it was Fear the Walking Dead, all of a sudden had a big change of tone and characters, and why not just end the show and do a spin-off? And we talked about that a little bit. I think sometimes, though, change can be good for a show. Now, sometimes we've seen massive changes in shows, and it didn't work for it. I remember when A-Team went through a significant change. But yeah, it doesn't always work, but sometimes it can breathe new life, and sometimes it's a gamble worth taking, I think. All right, Devontae Brown writes, did you happen to see the vid from the Let Me Explain dude about how Cinemia may have been a worse scam than MoviePass? He put it into perspective, mentioning the ID thing, asking for Social Security from some. I also didn't hear they were shut down till your show. They never emailed us. I did see that video. And it's a well-made video. The one thing I would caution anybody about it was that he presents some of his conclusions as facts. And look, it's not like I don't do. We all do that. So we present our own conclusions of things as facts. We all do it. I'm not coming down on the guy for that at all. But what I'm saying is, as I watched that video, I did notice a lot of the things that he was talking about were conclusions that he drew and some assumptions he was making. Now look, Cinemia, they've shut down. It's kind of pointless to even talk about at this point, but they tried desperately to make it work, and they couldn't make it work. So instead of doing the MoviePass thing and keep gasping and holding on and trying 55,000 other different things, they just put out a letter to their people and said, look, we tried a whole bunch of different things to try to make this work, and we can't make it work. So we're shutting down operations, which I thought was the right thing to do. Now, does that mean they didn't make mistakes along the way? Obviously they did. You guys remember a while ago before they shut down, I said, guys, I can't recommend this company anymore. I used to really like Cinemia. But a while ago, I had to start saying, guys, I mean, they're having all these problems. They're dropping the ball. This. I cannot recommend this service anymore. You're much better off getting something like an A-list or something like that. But again, I did see the video. It was interesting. But again, a lot of the things he presents in that video, and there's nothing wrong with this, be clear, but were his own, some assumptions based on things and some conclusions that he's drawn, as opposed to a lot of stuff and just looking at it from one point of view. But look, there's no mistaking about it. This was a cluster F. They dropped the ball, they failed, all that kind of stuff, and they shut down. So time to move on. Anyway, Joseph Ziegler writes, thank you, John, Ash, Rob, for your time. Really, no, thank you for spending time with us and allowing us this awesome opportunity to hang out with the film fan community and talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news. Thank you, Joseph. We're the ones who are grateful. JB Facio, probably pronounced, writes, I failed to see Cameron's presence in this trailer. Probably talking about the new Terminator trailer. Well, there's a reason for that, JB, something I've been keep telling everybody. This isn't James Cameron's movie. He's not directing this film. Oh, but he's going to be so involved. No, he's working on his 4 Avatar films. The reason we don't feel his presence in it is because this isn't his movie. He's not the director. He's not involved. I mean, he's involved, but he's not on a day-to-day basis. This is going to be, you know, it's the director of Deadpool. It's his movie, and I trust him, by the way. But that's why you're not seeing Cameron's presence in this trailer, because he's not the director of the film. The Crone Doggy writes, are Rob and Ash at your place or Skyped in? They are here at my place in studio. I have a nice little studio in here I've set up. I finally got it set up so I could have 2 guests in here at the same time. And we just find the chemistry, Rob and I especially find it a little bit easier, and our chemistry is better when we're actually in the same room together. And we have less technical difficulties than when we're trying to Skype everybody in. We have better audio quality, better video quality, all that kind of stuff. So, yep, we do it all right here. I don't have a full camera shot where you can see all of us at the same time because, like I said, it's a small space, but they are here in studio with me. ZOMG Ruler writes, Owen Hart fall. Oh, yeah. The Owen Hart fall was 20 years ago today. Remember that? And I do. I don't remember. It's not like some bit other, like when I found out Heath Ledger died. I don't remember the exact spot I was, but I still remember finding out Owen Hart had died. Of course, a member of the great Hart dynasty, brother to Bret the Hitman Hart, a truly great wrestler in his own right. And while performing, he was trying to do this big entrance stunt coming down from the rafters in the ceiling and fell, and he died from his injuries. And just terrible, terrible thing. 20 years ago that happened. Just crazy. All right. Kevin Lewis writes, let's see. Movies describing decade: 50s Rock Around the Clock, 60s Easy Rider, 70s Saturday Night Fever, 80s Valley Girl. Well, I mean, first of all, those are some great examples, Kevin. Well done. I would have to sit and think about it. That's not something I keep around off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But those are some really good picks. I particularly like your Saturday Night Fever pick for the 70s, because that's, when I think about the 70s, my head goes to that movie. I mean, obviously it was before my time a bit, but when I think of the 70s, I go to that movie absolutely. So I can't give my opinions because it's not information I keep off the top of my head, but those are some really good picks, Kevin. I like that. All right. Alex Alexander writes, over under 10% that you will enjoy Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover as much as Endgame. Hey, look, I like the CW crossover events. I do. The Crisis on Earth X one was actually really great. But they've never done anything, and that's fine. Very few people have. They've never done anything that come close to as good as Endgame, obviously. So while it's not impossible, I will take the under 10% on that, Alex. Although I am anticipating I'm going to like it, but I don't think it's going to be, probably as good as Endgame, and that's no shame in that. Murray Reich writes, Terminator trailer wasn't great, but Linda Hamilton looks badass. Still confused on how it takes place right after Judgment Day when she looks so old. No. It doesn't take place right after Judgment Day. It's just that this movie is the immediate sequel to Judgment Day, but it still happens years and years and years and years later. It pretends all the other Terminator movies don't exist. So this movie just assumes that Terminator 1 happened and Terminator 2 happened, and that's it. No other Terminator movies happened. So it is the immediate sequel to Judgment Day, but it doesn't take place immediately after Judgment Day. It still takes place decades later. So anyway, just to clear up that confusion. All right. Alan Valley writes, feel like Tyrion won Game of Thrones because he would be the one who makes most of the decisions as the hand, kind of like how Tywin is the ruler under Joffrey. Well, I mean, yeah, there are many ways you can look at Tyrion as having really ultimately be the winner at the end of the show. I mean, Tyrion, this is the third ruler he's been the hand of. He was the hand of Joffrey, then he was the hand of Daenerys, and then now he ends up as the hand of the new king, Bran the Broken. And he's the MVP of the series. He has been my favorite character in that show since season 1. Well, no, really since season 2. Ned was my favorite character from season 1. But yeah, there are many ways you could look at it and say, kind of at the end of the day, he was kind of the winner of the Game of Thrones. And I think you wouldn't be wrong to say that, I don't think. Murray Reich writes, also, Terminator trailer says 20th Century Fox. So when the movie comes out, is it still a Fox film? Absolutely. Because remember, 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney, but they still operate. Much like Avengers Endgame is a Marvel film. Yeah, Marvel's owned by Disney, but they still call it a Marvel film. Star Wars Episode 9 is a Lucasfilm film. Lucasfilm is owned by Disney, but, their company, Lucasfilm, is making that movie. Fox is owned by Disney, 20th Century Fox, but this is a 20th Century Fox movie. So yes, it'll still say Fox Film, although you might see a Disney logo in front of there as well, since they're the parent company, maybe. Kevin Lewis writes, MCU in space, but what street level heroes have a future? That's a good question. Because the bigger and grander things get, it becomes a little bit harder. But remember, the MCU has always worked very hard to keep changing gears. Don't always make everything about saving the planet and saving the galaxy. You know, they went from Avengers Infinity War to Ant-Man and the Wasp, a more small scale movie, right? So they've very purposefully always keep changing gears, and that's exactly what they should do. Not everything has to be a galactic, universal threat level stuff. It can be smaller level stuff as well to be exciting. So I do think as they go more galactic, they'll probably put more emphasis on some street level stuff as well. Look, after a couple years, they're going to reboot Daredevil. I believe we're going to have a Daredevil in there. I'd love to see Punisher come in there. So yeah, I do believe there is definitely a future for the street level heroes in the MCU moving forward. All right. Anthony DeRizzo writes, just finished rewatching Deadwood. I always forget how to pronounce his name. Swearingen? Al Swearingen, is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, is the greatest TV character ever. You guys looking forward to the Deadwood movie next week? I am. And, really, it's funny because Ian McShane, I just watched Ian McShane last night again in John Wick Chapter 3 for a second time. That's the show, Deadpool, that really, he's been around for a while, but that's the one that really put him on the map for a lot of people. And they've been trying for a while to get a Deadwood movie put together and kind of end that thing right, because it kind of ended out of nowhere. And they didn't get to end it on their terms. So yeah, Anthony, I am very, very, count me in. I'm very much looking forward to this Deadwood movie on HBO. 50 Shades of Crypto writes, how would you feel if the Can Zuck bill was passed? We already have open borders between Australia and New Zealand. It would be great if UK and Canada joined us. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of pointless to bring up a lot of political issues on here. I haven't been following it much, so I really don't much about it, so I don't really have an opinion to offer on that, unfortunately. Murray Reich, it's a great question, but it's just not one I'm qualified to answer. Murray Reich writes, Terminator director Sarah Connor is alive and well. Hulk, time travel. No, it's not time travel. She's aged and all that kind of stuff, but I like the illustration there. Matthew Downs writes, hey, John and crew, I got to see Brightburn last night. Oh, I'm going to try to see that tonight if I can. If not, I'm going to go see it tomorrow. I got to go see Brightburn last night, and oh my God, the horror is jaw-dropping. Everyone, but especially horror fans, go see this movie. The last I checked, let me just double check here. Brightburn on Rotten Tomatoes, last I checked, had like a 60-something%, which is not bad. It's rocking a 66% right now. So the majority of critics like it. I know I've been stoked to see this movie ever since the first trailer came out. I'm getting excited. I've got, not just you, Matthew, I've had a couple people letting me know, hey man, this movie's legit. So I'm very excited about going to see it. I'll let you guys know what I think about it as soon as I get a chance to get into the theaters there. Benjamin Mbakasi writes, just Benjamin is fine. Well, thank you for that consideration. Can someone tell Drake to sit down? I don't think taunting Giannis, the Greek freak, is a good idea. Rest of a good day, everyone. Yeah, I mean, look, I get as much as a kick as anybody seeing Spike Lee courtside at Knicks games, seeing Drake courtside at Raptors games, and all that kind of stuff. But celebrities courtside should be fans and don't just stay out of it. Don't get involved. Cheer and boo, but don't get involved. And look, good Toronto Canadian kid Drake, cheering for my Toronto, Canadian basketball team. That's great, but it should probably, hey, just be there and cheer. Don't get involved. Don't insert yourself into the dynamic of the game. That's kind of my feeling. I'm not coming down hard on anybody about it. It's like, hey, if I was there, and I had a chance to do it, maybe I would too. But really, they should probably stay out of it. So I'm right. He should probably don't get the Greek freak any more wound up than he needs to be. All right. My Force writes, saw John Wick 3. The movie was cool experience, but I don't think it worked for me like it did for probably meant for many other people. I was really excited for it, but I'm happy people like it so much. Keep up the good work, everyone, and have a great day. And hey, My Force, no sweat, man. Like, not everybody liked Endgame. Not everybody likes Godfather. Look, you watch a movie and it either works for you or it doesn't. It really works for me. I loved it. I love John Wick 3. But it's still, subject to the subjectivity of film. And that means that's not going to work for everybody. You can go on with an open mind and watch it, and hey, it just doesn't hit you the right way. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but you got the right attitude, man. You watched a movie that didn't quite work for you, but you celebrate that other people are enjoying it. That's the right attitude, and good on you for that, my force. All right. Wahaj Ali writes, people may have a difference of opinion on the Game of Thrones finale, but I can't stop listening to the final score. May your next showrunner theme, may be your next shower theme, Omi. Okay, yeah, so what he's talking about is that quite often, I've got a few pieces of music I go to. I don't just listen to random music when I get in the shower in the mornings. I have like 6 or 7 pieces of music that are my go-to. Like to listen to this piece of music because I take very fast showers. I'm in and out of the shower in one song or less. So, and I got a few things I have go-tos. What are you going to do when you're not saving the world by Hans Zimmer? That's the Man of Steel theme. Go to that. Pray for Me by The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar from Black Panther. There's a bunch of them. Maybe that's one I got to get. It's just, I like music that just really gets my blood pumping for the day. Ready? Because I take my shower and then I come sit down here. General scope of my day. 5 a.m. I come out here into my studio. Start getting various pieces of the show put together. Then I get the live event set around 7:30. At 7:30 then, once I get the live event set on YouTube, I'll run in, take a shower, get myself all ready and dressed. Then about 7:45, because I can do all that in about 15 minutes, 7:45, I'm back out here scanning for new breaking stories, because at that time in the morning is when a lot of new breaking stories start to come out. Scouting for new breaking stories. Then Rob and Ashley show up not too long after that. We get their camera set, we do audio checks, all that kind of stuff. And then we're rolling live at 9 a.m. But a part of that, getting showered, getting ready, pumped up for the show, is I have certain pieces of music, and maybe that's one I'm going to have to start adding to my rotation, sir. That's a good pick. All right, Trevor Johnson writes, Liquid Metal over Endoskeleton, T3, I Am Human, Salvation, Old Arnie Genesis. Seems like they're ignoring the others, but still using same ideas. I'd be careful, Trevor, not to assume too much. Like, there was a few things they showed, but it could mean 1,000 different things. So I wouldn't get too invested into any notion at this point. Oh, that means they're doing this. Let's wait and see. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. And that's fine if they use some of the ideas from the other movies that they're now ignoring. I'm totally cool with that if they are. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves thinking that's exactly what they're doing when all we've seen is brief glimpses. So let's see how it turns out. Damn, I'm still mad that trailer would have been 8 times better if they just put a better piece of music to it. Anyway, Trevor Johnson follows up with, it's just a teaser, and I'll give Terminator the benefit of the doubt, but the concept seems pretty mad to me since it seems like things they've already done. But I think your first part is the most accurate. It's just the first teaser, right? It's just letting us know Terminator's back. I'm not going to read too much into what it means and doesn't mean yet, and I think you get that notion as well since you started your comment with that, and I agree. It is just the first teaser. They're just giving us a basic idea. Let it feel a little bit familiar. It's Terminator. Let's get more into the marketing campaign before we start getting a more well-rounded idea about the movie. Be like, I'm going to go in with some hope. Again, the footage they showed at CinemaCon blew everybody away. So I'm going to try to ride that enthusiasm, and let's see what they give us in the coming months. All right. XX Your Disease writes, I hate how we don't fear the Terminator anymore. Like, we just blow them up now like M80s. CGI look worse than T2. Oh, I disagree with that 100%. Still have faith in that the movie will be good. Well, you got a great director on board, so that's always a good thing. Now we just blow them up. They didn't blow them up. Remember, Sarah Connor hit him with that bazooka, but I got a feeling that just slowed him down for a second. I get the feeling this thing's pretty much unstoppable. And I actually find it a little bit less menacing when they're completely unstoppable. There's something a little bit more menacing from it when you still have a sliver of a chance. But this thing seems completely unstoppable. To me, it seems like the whole race against it isn't to defeat it, but just to try to stay ahead of it. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. We'll have to wait and see, but you're right. There's a lot of reasons to have some faith in this. They attached a great director. That's always step number one. And the studio seems to have some faith in it. That's always a good thing as well. Let's see how the rest of the marketing kind of hits us as we move forward. All right, The Canon writes, your preference, Warrior 2011 versus Logan 2000. Oh, that's easy. Look, Warrior's a great movie. I love Warrior. It's a wonderful Tom Hardy. I mean, yes, it's a great movie, but Logan was the best film of the year. So yeah, Warrior's very, very, very good, but Logan, yeah, to me, it's one of my all-time favorite films. Kyle Pajor writes, John, can you explain what good writing really is? I think I know when I see it, but I can't always explain. That's not something I can answer in 1 minute. I mean, it's kind of like saying, what makes a good movie? Well, there's a million different elements, right? Creating compelling characters. Yes, but what in writing creates a compelling character? Well, that's a whole different ball of wax. I mean, what you're asking, Kyle, is an excellent question, but that's a question for a 45-minute, video essay, not a 1 minute quick answering to that. Look, but again, good writing is even then in and of itself subjective. There's some basic tenets you want to make sure you don't break, but other than that, it's kind of like, what makes a good tasting steak? Well, when you put it in your mouth and start chewing on it. If it's a good tasting steak or not. And there's a little bit of that with screenwriting and movies and stuff like that is, when you sit down and watch it, you just know if it's working for you or not. But there is a better answer than that, Kyle. But again, I don't have the 45 minutes to sit here and start breaking it all down. But it's a great question to have. It's just larger of a scope question than we kind of address here. The Canon writes, in good business, brand recognition is just one factor to consider when making a decision. It feels like the only factor some studios consider now. I disagree with that 1,000%. Now, it is definitely something we notice a lot, but it is not the only thing. It's not even remotely the only thing they take into consideration, but it is a big thing. It absolutely is a big thing. And let's be honest, it's the most important thing. Like, we can sit here all we want and say that certain stylized posters we like more and stuff like that, but they've put millions of dollars into studies about what actually works and what actually gets the audience's attention. And brand recognition, just having Spider-Man front and center, boom, 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 that probably has great effect, and that's important. Now, you can put alternate versions of stuff. Like this new Spider-Man poster that we talked about today. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of the new Spider-Man poster they put out. I'm just being straight up honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of it. But as far as effective, yeah, you look at that and you instantly know this is a Spider-Man movie. This is Spider-Man Far From Home. There's the Mysterio. There we go. I got a sense of it, and on that level, it works. And ultimately, here's the thing with me, Canon. It doesn't matter. Posters don't matter when it comes to the movie itself. This poster could have just been a black sheet of paper with Spider-Man Far From Home in white letterings. It doesn't make any difference to the movie. It's not going to make, no matter what is on that poster, it's not going to make the movie 1% better or 1% worse. So ultimately, it doesn't matter. So really, I don't care. I appreciate a good poster as much as anybody. I do. But really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't speak anything about the movie. The people making the movie are not the people making the posters. They're two separate groups of people. One has nothing to do with the other, and ultimately it doesn't matter. So I don't care about it all that much. Again, I appreciate a good poster, but it's at the end of the day, as a film fan, it doesn't really matter, so I'm not all that worried about. So if your biggest concern is making sure you have brand recognition, it catches the audience's attention, and blah, blah, if that's your thing, cool, you do it. I can like it or dislike it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because what I'm really most interested in is the movie itself. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this new Spider-Man poster, Ken, and I'm on your side with that. Ryan Lohner writes, just started Lucifer. Bravo, sir. I'm a huge fan of the comics and looking forward to where this goes. Oh, it goes in good places, Ryan. I love this show so much. Just finished watching the newest season 4 for the second time through. Yes, Ann and I watched it twice all the way through that fast. Love, love, love this show. I'm so glad you're watching it as well, Ryan. Lucifer, and thank you again, Netflix, for saving that show. Ariel Garcia writes, but John, first time super chat. Well, thanks for writing in, Ariel. Just started watching pretty recently, but I absolutely love your show and best movie, worst movie podcast. Just wanted to show some love. Thank you so much, man. It's always really cool when somebody just wants to write in just to say something nice and positive. And by the way, we're going to be recording our next episode of Best Movie, Worst Movie here in about a week. We're going to be recording the next episode. Keep your eyes open for that. Me, Cody Miller, Robert Meyer Burnett, I love doing that. If you haven't started listening to Best Movie, Worst Movie, jump on your favorite podcasting service of choice, search for Best Movie, Worst Movie. You should be able to find it. Go subscribe to it. Start listening to the episodes we have up there right now. And we've got another one coming in about a week or so. Okay, let's see. John The 1996 writes, Alan Silvestri's score, The Real Hero, during the funeral in Endgame is so emotional. I just listened to it in the car and it got me very emotional. You know, I think I've never been a big fan, as big of a fan as I am of the MCU, I've never been the biggest fan of the music in the MCU. A lot of it's grown on me over time, but the music in that scene, man, it was so perfect for the scene itself and really did a lot to heighten the emotional element of it. And you're right. I haven't listened to it on its own, but now you've got me completely wanting to do that. So probably as soon as I'm done this video, I'm going to go find that music and just listen to it. Thanks for that, John The. All right. Rich's Movie Trailers writes, I just want to say thanks for all you do, guys. Well, thank you so much, Rich's. That's really nice of you and considerate of you. I appreciate that very much, and thanks for being here and being a film fan with us. All right, AB Loves Movies writes, I can't believe I am excited for a Terminator movie again after so many disappointing sequels since Judgment Day. I agree. And you know what? As much as I hate the music selection in that trailer, because it was dreadful music selection, your visuals are trying to set one tone, and then you put in a piece of music that's completely the antithesis of the tone you're setting with your visual. Made no sense. I still found enough in there to get my motor revving a little bit. I think it was a pretty decent first trailer, but again, I think it could have been great if they just did a simple thing of not making such an idiot decision when it comes to what music to put in there. Again, it's never good. You're trying to set an atmosphere with your movie in the trailer. You're telling one story with your visuals and a completely different story with the music. It was a terrible, terrible decision. I don't know how that got past the powers that be, to be honest with you. But I'm looking forward to the movie. I am. I'm looking forward to the movie like you. John The 1996 writes, something I really admire about you, John, is your honesty. Yeah, sometimes my honesty gets me in trouble. Like, look, if I wish I could tell you that I absolutely love everything, but I don't. I wish I could tell you I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't. I know that's not popular to say, but I have to be honest with you guys, because if I'm not like, and I know it's the cool thing to like Blade Runner, but I don't. I know it's the cool thing to worship the original Halloween, but I don't. And I don't say these things to be contrarian or anything like that. It's just that I have to be honest, even when being honest gets me in trouble. But all I have with you guys is my honest opinion. And sometimes you'll agree with my opinion, sometimes you won't. I say it all the time that my job isn't to say things you agree with, nor is it my job to get you to agree with me. My job is to give you my honest opinion and give it in such a way, hopefully, that the way I give my opinion helps you sharpen your understanding about why you agree with me or why you disagree with me. Either works, either's great, and we all get to be film fans together even when we disagree. And the only way I can do that is if I'm always honest with my opinion. And that's all I can be. And look, nothing in this business bothers me. I will admit, it kind of bothers me when people raise a suggestion that I'm saying something that I don't think. That bothers me, particularly when that's all I have is to tell you what I honestly think. You know, I wish I could tell you I love Jessica Jones. I don't. I think it's a bad show. I know that's not popular to say, but whatever. I wish I could tell you that, you know, this movie that everybody's all excited about. I wish I could tell you that I think Endgame is the greatest movie ever. I love it. I had a great time with it, but I don't think it's the greatest movie ever. I think it had some problems, and I enjoyed it and had a fantastic time with it, but I'm not going to lie to you. And again, I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. It's just all I have is my opinion. Look, every schmuck with an internet connection and a webcam can do an online show. The only thing that makes me me is telling you what I actually think. My perspective and my point of view and my opinions are the only things that I have that are totally unique to me. Everybody else can turn on a webcam. Everybody else can have an internet connection. Everybody can do what I do. And I'm more than happy to teach you how to do what I do. That's why I put out videos that try to encourage you to do stuff like that. But what I always tell people, it's the same thing I always tell myself. Always be true to yourself. Never be afraid to say what is unpopular, if it is what you actually think. Never be afraid to say what is popular, if that's what it is you actually think. The only guiding principle needs to be actually say your opinion, and to hell with what anybody thinks about it. You know, if you agree or don't agree with me, but we can have fun together, awesome. If you don't like me because my opinion on movies is different than yours, I don't need you. But that is what it is. I mean, just say what you honestly think. That's all you can do. That's all I try to do, because that's honestly, at the end of the day, John, that's all I've got. That's all I got. That's all anybody has. But anyway, but thank you for saying that, man. It really means a lot. Tyler Eklund writes, went to see John Wick 3, love everything but the ending. For a movie with all this action, it just felt unrealistic. Unfortunately, I gotta say I disagree with you, but I can't go into why I disagree, unfortunately, because I don't want to give anything away to any. It's just still fresh, brand new in theaters. I don't want to give anything away for people who haven't seen it, but I can see where you're coming from. I disagree, but I see where you're coming from. I can understand why you might think that, but I can't go into why, unfortunately, because it's a new movie in theaters and I don't want to spoil anything. All right, Ryan Lohner writes, well, I'll never be able to hear All By Myself the same way again. Oh, yes. God, if you guys haven't seen... Look, I rave about Doom Patrol all the time, but they always do the most gutsy, bat crap, crazy stuff on that show, but always do it in a really cool way. They did something on this most recent episode, set to the music of All By Myself, that I cannot believe I was watching, and I could not believe was in a comic book piece of material. I laughed myself sick, had to pause the video and go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this. I don't want to give anything away. All I'm going to say is listen to Ryan, listen to me, check out Doom Patrol. And when you get to the episode that has the All By Myself song playing, you'll know exactly what it was we're talking about. Andy Brake writes, over under 15% that the new Falcon and Winter Soldier show would be called something like The Adventures of Captain America and Bucky. I'm going to go under on that, even though the 15 is a low number. I don't know that they're going to ever outright call Sam Captain America. I don't know that they're ever going to come right out and just outright call him that. I think he bears Cap's shield, but I don't think that automatically means he's that. Now, they might. I'm not sitting here telling you he'll never be called Cap. I'm not saying that. I just don't think they will. But we'll have to see. But for now, I'm going to take the under 15% on that. John Thie writes, favorite Swedish Leafs player, Borja Salming, sometimes affectionately referred to as Borja Bonehead, or Matt Sundin. Keep up the great work. Well, clearly the better player was Matt Sundin. There's an argument to be made that Matt Sundin might be the best player ever to play for the Leafs. I'm not saying that definitively. There's some iconic great players that have played. I mean, Daryl Sittler, for example. But Matt Sundin was the most. But Borja Salming, he was kind of an icon of that team during the real miserable years. Number 21 on the blue line, man. Borja, to me, he's the more iconic. And I'll say my favorite Leaf of all time, number 22, Rick Vaive. First Toronto Maple Leaf ever to score 50 goals in a season. Rick Vaive is my all-time favorite. Of course, I love Wendell Clark, and of course, Daryl Sittler. I love Bill Dolego and Wilf Paymont. I loved Yuri Sira, even though he wasn't all that good of a goalie. But probably my favorite out of those two, I'll go Borja Salming. Joseph Formato writes, hey John, love the show even though I can't watch all the time. Well, I'm glad you can watch it when you can. Do you think the new Terminator will be better than the previous sequels after T2? Stay cool. I do. I really do. I think they've had more time to marinate on this. They got a terrific director involved. So yes, is it going to be as good as T2? Probably not. That's one of the all-time great sci-fi action films. So I don't think it'll be as good as T2, but it doesn't need to be. But do I think it's going to be better than the other stuff we got? I hope it is. I really hope it is. But yeah, I think we're safe there. Who knows? We won't know till we see the movie, though. Assorted Musings writes, so happy I Love You 3000 is now in pop culture. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be around. It's probably going to die out pretty quick, but that is such a great little hook in the script. The line, I love you 3000. And they reused it in the movie. It's a really sweet line. And I've already heard it said a couple of times. I don't think that's a saying that's going to be around a year from now. I just don't. But it's a sweet, touching, adorable line, and I love the way they used it. Ryan Lohner writes, Scariest movie scene ever. Werner, not a significant bullet. Herzog getting so freaked out by the death tape in Grizzly Man. Yeah, that's awful. What is on that thing? It's the audio recording. It's from the documentary Grizzly Man, and there's an audio recording. The guy had his video camera going, but the lens cap was on the camera, so all there is audio. When he, and I can't remember if his girlfriend or his wife, it was recording while they were being mauled to death by a bear. And it's pretty horrific. It's just odd. And Werner Herzog, who once got shot while doing a live interview and just went, "Oh, it's not a significant bullet. Let's keep going." Like he just brushed, I was shot. Who cares? Let's keep doing the interview. He was really visibly disturbed while listening to the tape. And it's, it's a horrible, horrible thing, actually. It's a horrible thing. And it's neat to see that kind of humanity out of Werner Herzog, because we don't often see that in Werner Herzog, but it was really neat to see that. Barth Revan writes, "You always complain about 50 people on the poster, but this has the hero, the villain, and a supporting role. It's simple and elegant. What's wrong?" That's like, no, okay, time out, Barth. That's like saying, you complain something's too salty. And this doesn't have that much salt in it. Why didn't you like it? Well, because you put 5 pounds of paprika on it, and that's all. Or you put in 5 cups of cinnamon in it. I can barely get it in my mouth. Yes, just because I don't like something being too salty, that means anything else in the world that doesn't have too much salt in it means it's all good. Yes, I do not like the modern trend in a lot of posters. I put like 20, 30 characters on a poster and say, there, that's a movie poster. That doesn't mean anything out there that doesn't happen to have that one flaw is great, because that's the only flaw. I didn't find anything elegant about this poster at all. I thought it was, like I said, it looked like a grade 9 student put together a DVD cover from the 1990s. It looks like a 1990s DVD cover. Again, I don't care. The movie's going to be awesome. But yeah, like it drives me crazy when people say, well, you said you didn't like this about that one thing, but that isn't in this thing, so that means you love this thing, right? No, there's more than one thing that cannot be good about a poster. And just because this poster doesn't have 20 people in it, that doesn't automatically make it a good poster. Now, you may like the poster, and that's great. If you look at that poster and you think, this looks sharp and great, this works for me, that's awesome. I'm not going to try to talk you out of that. That's great. But I look at it, and it looks like a grade 9 art class DVD cover from the 1990s. That's how I see it. And I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. I'm not suggesting that at all, but that is how it struck me. And just because it doesn't have 20 people on the poster, that doesn't automatically mean it's supposed to be a good thing. So let's just be clear on that. All right, anyway. Roll Out the Reels writes, what do you think of the Aladdin reviews? They are what they are. I don't know what I'm supposed to... I haven't seen the movie yet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go see the movie as soon as I'm done recording this episode. As soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm running out to see the movie. As of right now, it's got 60%. Not great, but not bad. It means the majority of the critics like it. So good. Okay, great. So now I'm just going to go see it for myself. I can't have an opinion about the reviews to a movie I haven't seen myself yet. So once I get to see the movie, maybe I'll form something out of there. Joseph Sorty writes, John Wick 3, is it awesome? Yeah, in a Keanu voice. Yeah, I think I'm back. I love this movie. I've seen it twice already. I got to see it like 5 more times. Mark Blazer writes, Kaori is great. She has my vote. Well, this isn't a vote thing, but Kaori is great, isn't she? I was really glad she was able to fill in for us this morning. I'm going to see if she can come back next week because Ashley's traveling out to the East Coast for a bunch of next week. I can maybe see if Corey can come in and help with the question reading again, because it's always great when I can have somebody else read the questions, because it gives me like 30 seconds to make adjustments, check something, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere like 30-second blocks where I don't have to speak and I can focus on other things is awesome. So I'm going to see if Corey can come in and help me again next week. But I'll make sure she knows you said that, Mark. Thanks for saying that. Suthius writes, Mr. Campea, over under 60% Zemo will don a suit in Falcon/Winter Soldier. If you mean a suit as in a suit and tie, over 60%. If you mean a suit as in a supervillain costume, I'll take under 60. I'm not saying he definitely won't. I'm not saying it's a 0% chance, but I'll take under 60% on that. Amit Suresh writes, damn, John, Doom Patrol is great. Thanks for recommending. No. Thank everybody else for recommending it, because I thought the show looked stupid. Then a ton of you guys kept telling me, John, watch this show, watch this show. I finally checked it out, and now I'm in love with it, and now I get to recommend it to other people. I'm glad you're liking it, Amit. Catherine Aubrey writes, what is Arnold's role in the Dark Fate movie? No idea. No idea. I'm guessing he's not a Terminator. I'm thinking he might be the human guy that they based that model of Terminator off of. I don't know that, but we're going to find out. Captain N writes, Picard trailer just dropped. A really good little teaser. It's a true, pure teaser. It's a true, pure teaser. It's not a trailer. It's a true, pure teaser. I thought it was really good. Actually, Robert Meyer Burnett and I watched it together this morning. We're both, yeah, that's pretty good. So I don't know anything really about the show. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it, but I thought as a teaser it was pretty damn good. Suthius writes, do you like poutine? If so, recommend. Have I had poutine? I'm Canadian, dude. I love poutine, but that's like saying, if so, do you recommend? That's like saying, do you like hamburgers? Do you recommend hamburgers? Well, there's a million different kinds of hamburgers, and people do hamburger. You can have a hamburger in one restaurant and hate it, hamburger in another restaurant and love it. Poutine's the same way. The basis of poutine is very simple. It's French fries with cheese curds and or other types of cheese sometimes, and gravy smothered all over it. Sometimes people put bacon bits in there. Sometimes people put other stuff. But in Canadian movie theaters, actually, you can order poutine. You can get poutine in a lot of Canadian movie theaters. I love good poutine. I love good poutine. I recommend trying it, but again, just if you have poutine in some place in the States, it isn't going to taste as good as a place in Canada, but hey, it is what it is. Forever Steezed writes, I greatly enjoyed Aladdin. Yeah, a bunch of people got to see it last night. Not perfect, but in line with the other live action adaptations, better than good, shy of great, can't wait for your review. That's good to hear. Like, not everything has to be a 10 out of 10. Show me a movie that's a solid 7 out of 10. And I'll enjoy it. If you give me a good solid 7 out of 10, that's all I need to have a good time at the movie theater. And that's kind of sounding like where this thing's going to fall in. I hope so at any rate. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow morning what I thought about Aladdin. Hopefully it's something really good, but we'll see. Film Fan Rant writes, so is John Connor dead or is he irrelevant now? Just because a character is in a overall story doesn't mean they have to be in every chapter of the story. You know what I mean? So I don't think John is dead, but John Connor's always been the focal point of all the stories. It doesn't need to be. So I don't know what they're going to do with him in this movie. Quite frankly, I'll be perfectly happy if he's not in this movie at all. If they just say, John is currently safely hidden away in the Ukraine, that's fine. That's all I need to know. I don't need everything to be about John Connor. So, but other than that, I don't know what the answer to that question is. We're going to have to find out. Bradley Alonso writes, hey, John, have you seen the new Key and Peele skit about spoilers? Yes, Regina Hall's in that as well. Or Regina King is in that as well. Which one is it? Who? No, I'm freezing on that. And the woman who plays Cecile in The Flash is in it too. I love Key and Peele, and their spoilers thing was great. If you haven't seen it, look up on YouTube, Key and Peele spoilers, and you can thank me later because it's really funny. And thank Bradley later because it's really quite funny. All right, Suthius writes, I love I never know how to pronounce this. It's the word for the predator race. Yautja, however you pronounce it, mythology. So I enjoyed The Predator. I was so looking forward to The Predator. Shane Black, I was telling everybody for a year, you wait and see, this movie's going to be awesome because my man Shane Black is directing it. And Shane Black, did The Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he's great, and he's a visionary director, and this is going to be awesome. That movie sucked. Broke my heart too, because I was really looking forward to it, and I love Shane Black, and I was telling people for all year it was going to be great. But hey, look, that's the subjectivity nature of it. Just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it shouldn't work for you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Matsiv Jada writes, sorry, quote was... Oh, I'm not going to say that. Sorry about that. Suthius, I know people trying to get me to say it, but I'm not going to say it because I've got a Google Home here. Suthius writes, I love and enjoy going to the movies by myself. It's just more convenient. Don't have to wait on people and don't have to worry about multiple seats. I have no problem going to the movie by myself. Some nights I'm lucky I live right like a 10-minute walk, 12-minute walk from one of the best movie theaters in the country. I'm right up the street from the AMC Burbank 16. And some nights, I'm thinking I'm doing something with Ann. Oh, but Ann's got to work late. Or, Ann's got this homework she's got to do because she's going for like her second master's degree now at USC while working full time. It's crazy. Okay. Then, you know what? I'm going to walk up to AMC Burbank 16 and use my A-list and go check out a movie. I like going better with people. That's better. But That's cool. I have no problem going by myself either. There's some, and you're right, Southies, there's some advantages to going to movies by yourself. Costark 180 writes, it was announced, but it went quiet. Any news for Mel Gibson's Passion sequel, Resurrection? None. I've heard nothing about it. Now, the last I heard, he was going to do it, and he was going to kind of finance it himself, if I remember correctly. I don't know if that's still true or not, but yeah, I haven't heard any updates on it. No updates on it at all. Southius writes, my holy trinity, Emma Stone, Emma Watson, Anne Hathaway. It's a good list, my friend. Those are some talented women that always turn in something great whenever they're on screen. I love all three of them. Catherine Aubrey writes, as this is a Terminator film, Arnold is in. He has to say, I'll be back. It's in every Terminator film. I don't agree. Now, do I think he will say, I'll be back at some point in the movie? Yeah, I think he probably will. Does he have to? No, he doesn't have to. It is a tradition in Terminator films, yes, but just because it's a tradition doesn't mean you have to do it. It doesn't mean you have to follow it. But I think he will. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think at some point you're going to hear him say it, but if they don't, I won't be shocked either if they don't. You don't have to force it in if it doesn't feel like there's a good spot to put it in. So will they do it? I'm guessing they will. Do they have to do it? I don't think so, but we'll see. Doshi writes, disappointed in the Terminator trailer. CGI looked worse than Terminator 2. I disagree. I don't know what people are looking at. They're looking at something different. I don't think the CGI looked bad at all, but whatever. Looked worse than T2 for me, and too modern. Bad green screen. I disagree with that too. I wanted it to be more gritty. Hope the film is good. Remember, this is just the first teaser trailer. And for all I know, the next trailer is going to be terrible, but whatever. For now, it's just the first teaser trailer. I wouldn't get too worried about it at this point. Again, I just wish they chose a different piece of music for it. Mickey Altieri writes, you got that Scream reference correct. Oh, that's right. Sid, you're doing Linda Hamilton. That's right. You got that Scream reference correct. Scream 2 to be exact during Mickey's reveal to Sydney. That is right. I don't know why. It was because of the name Sid. It's like, oh yeah, it's Scream, isn't it? That's why I got that one. But thank you for clarifying that for me, Mickey. I appreciate that. Southius writes, Pandora has been at Disney's Animal Kingdom for a few years now. One has to wonder if they had any inkling of the deal. Neytiri is a princess now, sort of. No, remember, Fox doesn't have their own theme park, right? So for a lot of years, people license out things to theme parks for theme parks to get the rights, right? For instance, Harry Potter is a Warner Brothers property, but you'll find it at Universal Studios Hollywood. Does that mean secretly Universal's about to buy Warner Brothers? No, it's just that they have a property and they license it out to a theme park. Like instead of Disneyland being able to have Harry Potter, Universal got the rights, the theme park rights to that property, and they built it there. So no, it doesn't mean there was any inkling of any sort of a deal in the future. That's just coincidental, so it doesn't really mean anything. Richard Green writes, Picard teaser drop. Thoughts? Odd teaser. I thought it was very good for just a teaser for a show that's still a long ways off. So for a first little teaser, I thought it was really quite nice. I thought it was really good. Pool of Dead writes, John, when Steve Rogers goes back in time to live with Peggy and grows old, he becomes Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Rogers is actually Cap and can lift Mjolnir. Well, I guess in a way that's true. I've always said if any real living person could have actually theoretically lifted Mjolnir, it would have been the real Mr. Rogers. He could have done, oh, look at this nice little thing. He just would have, and everybody would have been, oh my God, he would have wielded thunder and power, and he would have defeated Thanos all on his own. Anyway, guys, that will do it. We are now all caught up on all the questions from this morning. Thank you guys for sending in all those questions, not just because you gave us great and fun things to talk about and expressing your points of view on movies and being a part of the film fan community, but also by doing so, you're supporting the channel. And I really appreciate when people support the content that they enjoy and interact with. So thank you so much for that. Listen, guys, I'll be back again tomorrow with the next episode of the John Campea Show. Already working on some of the stories for then. Make sure you come back and join me for that as well. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.